Okay, we got news. We're at the wiring part. I've got the panel provisioned to hook up to the pickups and the jack. I've got another hole to drill there and a couple of more screws to put in the pick guard, and the body will be pretty close together. So this is going to be a very simple one. 2 pickups, 3-way switch, no push-pulls, 2 volumes, no tone, and a jack. That's it. That's all. Very simple. All of the difficult work was in redoing the body. So we are at the point where we need to hook this up to these. So those are very long. This is bridge, this is neck. And they're very long, and I am going to cut them down and make them smaller to fit in here, because they're really overkill. I'm going to start off by cutting this one off right there. This could be saved, by the way. You never know when you might need a piece of wire with multi-conductors that you want to do something with. And this one we're going to do, well, let me just put, well, I can cut it off here to begin with so it'll fit in there. I want to try the switch in the bottom over there to see if it's going to fit down in there. This is curved up. Put all this over here. I had to re-drill the holes also that go from the pickups into the cavity. This one had the hole way up high going low, and this one had the hole way up high, way up low going high, or like they did it like this. So the wires were coming out just under the panel here, and their wires were very thin, right? So it didn't matter. These have very big, thick jackets, so I had to re-drill them, a new hole going down, so they would come out at the bottom of the pockets on both sides, and not at the top. So let's see how we're doing here. That's definitely in my way. Damn. That hole came out right where my switch needs to be over there. Alright, how about that? Does it go down? Yeah, it fits in okay, as long as I can keep the wires out of the way. Alright, that's good. That'll be the tricky part, keeping the wires out of the way. And I didn't have a choice as to where that was going to come through down there. I looked at it and I go, that might be a problem. And I think it is going to be to a certain degree. If I can shape that and then press it in, I should be alright. Okay, so we're at the point where this goes like that. And this goes like that. Right? We don't want to scratch anything up after all the work we did to make it shiny. Okay, so I need, this is the bridge, so the bridge is going to go here. So I've got enough wire to go there. Alright, that's going to be perfect. And then this one is the neck, and it goes there, and that's pretty much going to be perfect. Alright, so I cut it just about right. Now all I have to do is get the conductors out. And now this is the part you got to be really careful about, because you don't want to cut any on the inside. And how much do I need in length? Let me take a look. I need to go there and ground, which is not that far, and the north-south of the middle is going to be just jumpered together. So yeah, I don't need a lot. I'm thinking half an inch, a little over half an inch. Let's see if I can make this work. Boom. There you go. Very gently, with your wire strippers. And mine, these have been around since the 70s, and they're a little bit dull. I put a blade on them, a blade. I put a file on it the other day to try to improve it a little bit after all these years. All right, let me look at this. I think the black and the red are the hot, yeah, and the white and the green are the centers, so they'll go together, and we'll put a piece of shrink on that. And the shield and the black has to go to the body. I put my gloves on today to try to avoid a lot of fingerprints on everything. A little bit harder to work with these things on. And you know what I found? Playing with the chrome? Look at, fingerprints still come through with these gloves on. So I'm thinking, what's the point? Alright, so let's take care of these little center taps first. So these are really small, and this is why I was sharpening these this tool, because these little ones, you got to get right down there and not go through them. Used to be a spring thing on this, but it broke. And sometimes that piece of insulation doesn't come off. These insulations here are so thin with these little wires that you just have to basically make an impression on them. You don't have to cut them really, and pull, and they'll come off. So we're just going to twist those two. And we're just going to dab them. And I'm going to put some shrink on that. Come back here. Now, that's hot. It's going to go to ground. Oop, turned it the wrong way, right? I usually turn this way with this hand. Alright. Because I did it with my left hand. So I've got to put some solder in this braid as well. So I need a small amount of insulation for the red, like that. I'm going to need a little bit bigger amount for the black because it's going to go to the body with the shield, like that. And I'm going to tin both of those independently first. Where's Robbie? Can you hold that, Robbie? Thank you. Robbie's really handy. So I'm not going to show all of my work on this, but I'm just going to do a little bit here on the shield. That needs to have a little bit more because it's going to have to go to the body back. Alright, so this is one of them. Then I'm going to have a small piece of insulation. I found these at my local Princess Auto in Canada in the trailer wiring department. So if I put that over the top of there, clean that really good, put some heat on it, and then put some heat on the bottom. That should keep that in place. And not interfere with anything else. Like that. So that's one. I'm going to do the same thing with the black one. And then what happens is this gets hooked up to the volume pot. The red goes in on 2, and the other 2 go to the back of the case, and then this brings the signal to the switch, which is selected, and then the output jack is going to come off of this pin here. This is the common, which is jumpered 1, 2, and 3 and 4 right across there like that. So that brings the common from the bridge and the neck to central point, which is the output jack to ground. Alright then. There it is, hooked up. I'll try to tidy that a little bit, but for now we're going to use the air bridge. See if we can do a tap test and get some noise out of this thing all the way across. Boom, I heard the connection. Alright, where are we at? Let's go bridge. That's a good sign. No noise. Volume down. No noise. That's a good sign. Neck. That's a good noise. Volume down. That's good. Alright, middle. Middle is working. Independent volumes are working. By Jove, I think we've got it. By Jove. Okay, so I put the what do I call it, bleed circuits on here as well. Treble bleeds. Alright, let's see what kind of trouble I can get into trying to put that in there. Let's see, I just have to move that black one out of the way of that switch. And then maybe it's going to go where I need it to go. Yes. Yes. It's a go. all this sit down work I think I like. It's the all the standing up, leaning over work that's hard on my back. This hole seems to be a little loose. That's probably been in and out too many times. So the trick we're going to pull with that one is simple. I'm going to take one of these bamboo toothpicks and shove it down there to see how far it goes in. It's not that far actually. It's very shallow. And that's going to go in the hole. We're going to shove it down in there. And that's going to give me some snugness, because it's going to expand. Splinter and expand in there. There we go. It's tighter than the other one. And here's a screw also that needs a touch. Now this is where the other pick guard came down to here. So all I'm going to do there is just put a screw in that hole. So it's quite deep. So you just have to make it slightly shallower than the top of the body. Then all we have to do is push the screw down on the top of that and slowly screw it in. So this is the trick I do with pick guards that I take off that I don't like on. I just put the screw to fill the holes. Just like that. And I have a couple of more screws to put on this pick guard. And I have one hole to drill over here that I forgot to do earlier today. You know, it would work even without putting a screw over there. You know, I don't even think I need one. Now, I've kind of pre-positioned these bridges back in sort of a staggered form a little bit, just to give myself some space because of the intonation. And I don't know where it's going to be. So if they're back further than you need them, it's easier to go forward with them than pulling back on tension. Yes, indeed. So the next tedious part that I'm going to run into, I think, is going to be what shim am I going to need in the neck here? What shim? So I need to do a big cleanup around here. Got all those fingerprints, even with the gloves on. I tried to keep the chromy. Once you get the strings on, I mean, you can't go underneath there and clean it out. I think there's one layer of plastic that might still be on the pick guard here. It has to come off. Let's see. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get it started. I normally pull it off before I put the screws in, but I forgot. Alright, so this is the final layer. Still one screw hole up there. Boom. That came off pretty good. Do I have another? Yeah, I do. Snug as a bug. So all that work has been done. See, very few wires on this drawing. Very uncomplicated. Very uncomplicated. So very, very good with that. The back turned out nice. Beautiful piece to go on there. So I'm very happy with that. And with this, I end up going back to the other bench where the neck is and start to do the shimming part. I'm going to have chrome knobs on here, and I have a top hat for this, which is from the other one. I was trying to make it work, but I think I'm just going to go with the white, a white barrel on that one to go with my white pickups, and we'll call it that until I get to the other bench. Guys, the journey is getting close. We are at the string time. 9 to 42s as usual. I put a .31 shim in the neck. That seems to have, it looks straight out now. And we'll see how that goes. I have to change it. I'll have to change it. Alright, let's lay these strings out and get them ready to mount. Strung up. Just have to go through the adjustment procedures. It looks like I'm going to have to do a little more nut work up there. And I don't know about the .31 shim. We'll have to see. The intonation I guessed perfectly on the bottom 4, and I had to adjust the top 2 here. So I did pretty good. I did pretty good. Alrighty, it's going to have to sit for a while. In the meantime, I might also do some work on the nut before I come back.